For the graduation page, I was planning on doing a black background rather than brown paper. I'm not sure why, I think I just wanted something different. Also, you might realise these are stickers, so they look very similar to the photos that I normally print on my Instax Mini, but I've actually been using the Canon Selfie Square, but the Canon printer is a little bit bigger, but they both connect to your phone via Bluetooth. I will leave links to both of these in the description box below if you are interested in checking them both out. With these Canon photos, they're actually more square. So I made a square Polaroid template, which I'll leave in the description box below. And that's what I used to make my Sardinia pages, so make those photos. What I find is that both the Instax and the Canon have printed out a little bit darker. So as you might be able to see, it looks a little bit blue, like there's shadows in there, when actually the photo I had was quite bright and white. So I mentioned in the last video about these stickers, they came from Neon Sheet, and the great thing about them is the fact that they are on clear paper, so I can see what they're going to look like before I stick it down, and I can see if they'll fit and if it looks good. Neon Sheet's also the place where I get my photo corner stickers, but I will leave everything linked in the description box below as always. So my sister also went to King's, and King's is known for its red, and this is my favourite chocolate bar wrapper. It is the Galaxy Cookie Crumble one, best flavour in my opinion, and I saved it because I feel like it would be a great background for some of these pictures. This must be the chocolate sort code or something. I also gassed out Nicole, who's currently sitting next to me. This 3M craft mount is really good, but it's adhesive glue. Yeah, it's a chemical. Smells like glue. Now for this envelope, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to glue the little flap so that I can stick some white writing here and write about the day. I can also then still stick stuff in the envelope and it will just flip down, and that way it doesn't have to be into the binder because then it's a little bit off centre, so I want it to stay in the centre for this. So I'm going to get out my lovely folder of background paper. In here I've got a whole one dedicated to white scrap paper. That looks perfect to me. So as you can see from these fuzzy lines, I've used a ruler to cut these to make it straight. So I'm just gonna cut it again with a ruler. This brown envelope I think was actually a birthday card that my friend gave to me, but she wrote in pencil. So I was like, oh, that's brilliant, I can keep it. And also, if you're gonna stick a big photo over the top of the envelope, then it doesn't matter if your name is written underneath it. So try not to bin those envelopes because they are really useful for scrapbooking. I'm also going to stamp the top of the envelope with my date stamp. Then down here I'm just going to use these little stamps which were £3 from Tiger and write King's College London. Also got red ink. Oh, that's perfect. Maybe I'll do it in red. Now what I'm going to do, rather than stick this black card on here, I'm actually going to turn this into another page. So I'm going to mark on where these circles are so that I know where to hole punch. Now I know that in Brighton I've got these lovely 3D London stickers that I will probably stick here. However, I've got this tube map of the London Underground, and this section here is basically where my sister lived her entire 3 years at uni, and it's also where I live as a King's student. So I think what I might try and do is rip it out and stick that there. Like it. So I have just printed out all of my photos, and it kind of looks like a big mishmash because lockdown didn't really have a theme as such, so I'm going to try and make a theme out of all of these pictures. So the first thing that comes to mind is a before and after. So I've got this photo of when I started doing all my running, and then I was going to do an after of when I was in a wheelchair. I also have a few photos of lockdown trends as such, so this coffee that everyone was making, TikTok, normal people, but I was thinking maybe I could do a work page. So I've got some photos of some things that I'm really proud of doing. So I've just gone on defonts.com and I found this font called Antique Cherry, which was underneath the fonts of Old School, and I really like it. So I'm just going to do a 2020 before and then an after, and I'm going to write this one in white and then I'm going to do this one in black. This is also why I would highly recommend using a pencil. You might get it wrong the first time. I might do a tiny little and, or that might ruin it. If you write something wrong in Sharpie, you can rub it out with nail varnish remover, thankfully, because I spelled April wrong. So I'm often asked, Mei-Ying, should I get a black or brown or white scrapbook? This is when I'd say it doesn't matter, you can always add in your own pages. I would say though, the white pen on the black paper looks so striking, I love it, and it's really nice to have that contrast in this book. But I feel like the brown is quite versatile and a little bit more, I don't know, less contrasty. You don't want contrast all the time, so that's why I stick with a brown book. Also, you might have noticed that this is actually a birthday card, but I really liked this pink and the gold embossing, so that's why I kept it, and I'm just going to use it as the background for this page. With this photo, I really wish that I hadn't printed it on this paper. I just printed it on normal photo printing paper, because then it would look like the page in Leiden where I have the photo booth photo. So what I might do, I know it's a bit annoying and a little bit of a waste, but I think I'm going to cut around here. Maybe if I was to stick it on some black card as well, it might make it look a bit cooler. Now I should say, this piece of material I ripped off a box. That's why it's got a little bit of cardboard on the back. Being very resourceful here. So for the titles, I decided to do the same font as the previous page, so the before and after, because it's still this whole lockdown spread, so I thought it would be nice to kind of keep it a little bit coherent. Otherwise these pages look very different and it's, yeah, a bit out of context. So to make this photo look a little bit more like it has come from a photo booth, rather than sticking it on black card, because black card's kind of expensive, I'm just going to go around the edges with a black Sharpie. Hopefully that has the same effect. I'm just using the nail varnish remover again to remove that writing because it just wasn't working. So I've tried with 3 different biros, but it's just not working, so I'm going to cover it up with the label maker. So on a few of the pictures and the white pop-outs, I've done these little corners around them to make them stand out just a little bit more.